Hey everyone, Sullivan Grosz. Here I'm with
Robert Nielsen.
Robert's been with the company for 3.5 years.
About 3.5 years.
Yeah, nice. I remember actually when I just started with Pearson, we were working on a deal. I had a listing with Danny.
Yep.
It was like 80 acres of pistachios and an old vineyard. And the seller had written out, have I told you this?
No.
But the sellers had written out the production summary on a piece of paper and like wrote a graph in there. And you had reached out because you were an agent for how many years before joining with Pearson?
About 7.
7, or broker?
Yep.
Broker.
Yep.
And so you were working with a buyer interested in my property.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'd only been with Pearson for 6 months maybe. So I sent you the production summary and it's handwritten in there. And you sent it back and you said, I'm not going to send this to my client.
That does not surprise me.
Exactly. I'm not going to send this to my client. And I'm like, well, I have this document that the seller said, so I typed it up and then I sent it to you in a graph. And you're like, that's better. So that was one of my first experiences working with you. And then, so that was probably 6 or 7 years ago. So then a couple years later, you joined on with Pearson.
Yeah.
And tell us about that thought process.
Well, I had been pretty much a buyer's rep since I got into the business. I'm a retired farmer and started selling ag land after I sold the ranch, and was only a buyer's rep. And finally it dawned on me, boy, I better start working on getting the listing side of the business, because that's really where it's at. And,
A little more consistency.
Yeah. And I wasn't in a place to do that justice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized that this would be the company to come to, because everybody knows Pearson, 103 years, and great reputation. So came here and realized right away I wish I had been here since day one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you mentioned you were working with a lot of buyers and then kind of wanted to work with Pearson to try and get more listings.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I know, but you've had quite the success the last few years at kind of expanding on that. And
yeah.
you mentioned you previously farmed quite a bit with your family and your father.
Yep.
And so I would think, have built a lot of relationships from that side of it. Have you found that some of those relationships have been helpful today?
Yeah. The funny thing is, nobody knew I was in real estate because I was just representing certain buyers, and so it's been a process of letting people know.
Yeah.
And so it's paying off now. They definitely are aware of what I'm doing and who I'm with, and yep.
Yeah.
People are calling.